In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can install and configure Nginx Proxy Manager latest version on Proxmox container. And everything is going to be step by step, and it's going to be a long video, so fasten your seatbelts and bring some snacks to it. Hello and welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to install Nginx Proxy Manager on the container of Proxmox, and after the installation, I will show you what I made this. This is a rough drawing of how we're going to configure things or applications using the Nginx Proxy Manager. But before that, we need to install that. So first of all, make sure you have Debian 12 in your CD templates. If you don't have that, then simply go ahead and download it. Debian 12 standard for containers. So it's gonna be under CD templates. And once it's downloaded, go ahead and create a template using this image. So I'm just gonna use the image ID 102, which is fine. And I'll name it npm o2 as I'm using o2 in all of my machines. So firewall o2 and npm o2. And make sure it's going to unprivileged and nesting is also disabled. I have this post on my blog. So I actually mentioned here OS should be Debian 12 and unprivileged unchecked, nesting unchecked, and disk space 20 gigs. You can use like 4 gigs, 5 gigs, that's fine. But if you're going to use it for long term, and if you're going to allow the updates, and it's going to be like some logs files as well, so you won't run out of space. But if you don't have enough space, 4 or 5 gigs is fine to add like more than 100 hosts on the machine, and RAM 1 gig is fine as well. But I always prefer the more is the better. So I'm going to use this. Okay. So now I'm going to set the super strong password for my machine. All right, password is set. And once again, unprivileged container is unchecked. And then I'm going to use the Debian 12 template for this container. Next, I'm going to use 20 gigs. As I said, I'm going to use, but you can use less if you want. And I'm going to use 2 cores. 1 core is fine as well. For the RAM, I'll use 2 gigs of RAM. And for the SAP, I'm going to use the same amount as well. And for network, I'm going to use a LAN network, and I'm going to use a static IP address since I know I have this range starting from 0.1 is my firewall. So I'm going to use 2, which is the second machine with the number 102, and 172.16.0.1 is my gateway, which is the LAN IP address of my firewall, what we configured in my previous video. Okay, and next I'm going to use definitely a domain zzsol.uk. I got this one just to test, like to make this video. And then for DNS servers, I'm going to use the Google one, but I'm gonna tell you why I use this so I can actually use this domain, and I will update that on the firewall as well so I can access firewall using my domain as well. Okay, so next, and then I'm not going to click on a start after created because I have to make some changes, and then I'm gonna click on finish. If once the container is created, I have to make some changes, what I mentioned in my blog as well. So we will have to add these lines. Oops, I'm gonna copy this. Well, actually, we will do that one by one. Okay, so once it's created, make sure it's not running. Go to the actual host shell, and we will edit the file, which is going to be in etc pve LXC, and the machine number is 102, and it should be .config. Okay, in the end of this configuration, we are going to paste these lines. I'm gonna do one by one. Otherwise, sometimes it changes the format and becomes messy. Okay, and then the second line, paste, and then the last line, copy, and then, sorry, it's going to be in the next line, paste. Okay, Control X to save the changes, hit Y to confirm, and then hit enter. Now our file has been completely changed. Then I'm going to type the command pct start 102, which is going to be starting this container. It's the command to start, or you can just simply right click and click on start. Okay, so it's okay. Just leave. You can see this is started. So I'm gonna type the username and the super strong password we set while we were creating this machine. Okay, and then the last step is we're going to run this script. Pretty simple. And I'm just going to minimize Linux Mint for now. Let's see if I can increase the size of it, or I will do that in the video editing. Okay, so I'm going to paste this. So it's just one-liner script and hit enter. So the previous script, what I had posted in my previous post, it was not working for some reason. In the latest version of Nginx application, they removed the global folder, but that script actually pulls the latest version of Nginx Proxy Manager. So like I had difficulties running that script. It's because I received a few comments and few emails like this script is not working, we are trying, and like all of them were getting stuck at the global folder error. So I had to work on this script, and this is actually a mixture of Docker and but still it's going to be installed on the container. But you can see it's pulling the image from Docker, so it's like pulling the image and then getting the actual files and combining all those stuff. So you guys don't need to go in that depth, but the good news is it's working with the latest version. I tested it like multiple times and then I posted it into my GitLab. And by the way, I'm going to show you in my upcoming videos how you can host your GitLab. It's like pretty much simple, straightforward, easy. There are a few bugs, but I will show you how you can fix those. But otherwise, it's working perfectly fine. Like I'm running a script from my GitLab, which is hosted on my server, and it worked. And like you can see, it worked perfectly fine. Within a minute, everything is installed, and also it's going to show you the IP address. So the IP address is 172.160.2 with 81. If you're lazy, you can just simply copy this and make sure you try to access using some machine which is in the LAN, not on your computer. Otherwise, it's going to give you error. So I can just paste and go. Or one thing, what I noticed, if I type this IP address with this, sometimes it gives error or it won't load because it tries to use the HTTPS. But if it's HTTP, it should be fine like this. So in the older version, you need to use the like default username and default password. But for the latest one, you create your own user. So I'm gonna just do this, and it's going to be npm02 at zzsoul.uk. That's I'm going to use. Okay, so this is how it looks in the start. So what we're going to do is going to set a DNS which will be forwarding this. So let me show you from the image. I'm just going to close it because it's installed. No need to do anything on that one. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to set a DNS name, like let's say npm02.zzsol.uk should be forwarding to the public IP address of my firewall. And then I'll tell my firewall if any request come for this, it should be forwarded to the Nginx Proxy Manager. And then under Nginx Proxy Manager, I'll tell it to, like, if something comes for this, it should be forwarded to this. Like, I have only one server. If I install a virtual min and I have like 100 websites, I can run perfectly fine, even on a container using this scheme. So once you learn this, there is no difficulty setting up anything. So I'm going to show you everything step by step. Okay, so this is my Cloudflare account and I registered this domain zzsol.uk just for testing and other stuff because I was using some services on zzsol.uk, but that was actually for testing. So things gone kind of messed up. So I was like, okay, now I'm going to use this domain for testing and stuff. So currently you can see there is nothing, no record. So I'm just going to click on add record and then I'm going to type here the subdomain name. So as I was using npm our2 and you can see it's pointing to npm.2.zzsol.uk and then here you're going to put in the public IP address and the public IP address should be the one for the WAN IP address of the pfSense or your firewall. And then I'm going to hit save and then I'm going to go back to my firewall because now step number 1 is completed. I have set just one domain. We will use the same method for every single domain or every single subdomain. So I just use one for Nginx Proxy Manager. So now any request for npm02 will go directly to here, to this one, to the WAN address of the firewall. Any request for npm02.zzsol.uk will hit to the WAN, but since it's a firewall, it will definitely deny. Nothing will happen. We'll say nothing is configured. So we will have to go to firewall and tell it if request comes for this, then forward it to a different location, which is going to be Nginx Proxy Manager. Then we will tell Nginx Proxy Manager, if you receive request for this, forward it to like this direction. Okay, so step number 2, we're going to go into firewall. And since we already know, we have firewall opened in this Linux Mint machine. I'm going to just minimize all other stuff just to make sure there is no confusion. Okay, so in the firewall, I'm going to go into the firewall and NAT because we are going to set up port forwarding. Okay, so just click on add and then make sure it's not disabled. Interface is going to be WAN and protocol is going to be TCP. And we're going to use the port number, which is, we can set HTTP and redirect target IP. We are going to use the IP address of the proxy manager, which is 0.2. Make sure everything is correct. And the redirect port is going to be the same one. So we're going to use two ports, HTTP and HTTPS. And I'm going to give it a description. It's going to be Nginx _forward. Oops. _ HTTP. So that way I can see what rule it is for. Okay, so I can see Nginx forward HTTP. Then I'm gonna use this copy or cloning version. And so for this, I don't need to type all the stuff again and again. I'm just gonna move from HTTP to HTTPS and here as well from HTTP to HTTPS. So port 80 and 443 will be forwarded to our Nginx Proxy Manager. I'm going to hit apply on that. And then I'm going to come back to Nginx Proxy Manager under proxy host. I'm going to click on create host and I'll use HTTP port 81 and it's going to be npm02. It should be the same one, .zzsol.uk and publicly accessible. Custom location, no SSL. Since we don't have any SSL, we can request a new SSL certificate and save. So it will use Let's Encrypt certificate, but I prefer using the one from Cloudflare. So first try this. I haven't tried Let's Encrypt ever because I was always using the actual certificates. So let's do that actually. Okay, so to add the certificate, we're gonna go to click on Encrypt via DNS. Since we're using the DNS, which is like the orange proxy. Let me show you once again. Here you can see it says proxied. That means my public IP is not going to be exposed on the internet. So again, use the DNS one, not the one with HTTP, because we're going to use one with the DNS. And here I will provide the provider, which is actually Cloudflare, and then my domain name, which is this. And here we need API token. So I'm going to go back to Cloudflare and create a token. So to create a token, you're going to click on profile and then your profile, then under API tokens, we're going to create a new one, create token. And then we're going to click on edit DNS zone, use this template. Okay, here you're going to set this as it is. For this one, you're going to use zone, not account or anything else. Under DNS, make sure it's set to DNS. And here you will set read. By default, it's going to be on edit. So just set it on read. And here set include and specific zone and use your domain. So I have like multiple domains under one account, what I don't want to expose here in the video. So I selected the one what I'm going to use. And then click on continue to summary and it's going to add this token and then click on create token. Okay, then copy this token and go back to your domain and we are going to paste the key here. So it's not allowing me to copy the code from here to here. So I'm going to type it. So you copy the key and paste it here in the front of line DNS Cloudflare API token, and then simply click on save. So this procedure takes some time. So that's why I'm getting internal error. And that's how you put in your domains, direct.yourdomain.com or domain dot whatever it is, and then your actual domain. So I'm going to use the quick method just to finish the video as soon as possible. So I'm going to use the actual certificate I'm going to create on Cloudflare and then I'm going to download. Those are called origin generated. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and click on save. And now it's using, it's showing not used because I haven't used it and it's already installed and you can see the expiry date is somewhere in 2040. Okay, so now go back to host and we're going to add our first host, which is going to be the NPM actually itself and the port number is 81. And I'm going to use npm02.zsol.uk. And for SSL, I'm going to use this one and I'll just save it and let's try. So it says we are having trouble. So let's verify things one more time. So npm02, which is fine, what we're using here, npm02. Oops, actually I'm not typing the complete domain, which is zzsol.uk. Perfect. Now you can see it's showing me the congratulations page. That means it's forwarding correctly to the IP address. And something we need to change is the port number here. So it should be forwarding to port number 81, but it's forwarding to port 80. So let's try this in incognito or private window. Sometimes that creates problem too. This is sol.uk. Okay, no, it's forwarding to port 80. Okay, let's add another one, which is going to be FWO2, and then the public IP address of your firewall. And then same thing here. So fwo2.zzsol.uk, and then the IP address, which is this, and the port number is 443 actually, and we're going to use the scheme HTTPS. And SSL we are going to use is this one. And then we're going to go ahead and save this one. Now we have two. Okay, so this one is not working because I did not mention the correct domain name. So I'm going to click on edit on this one, and it's npm02.zzsol.uk. And then I'm going to hit on save. And sorry, I actually have to change the port number. Set on 80, it should be 81. Save. And if I try again on incognito, let's try npm.o2.zzsol.uk. Now you can see it's showing me the login page, and we created another one, firewall, zzsol.uk, and here you can see it's like showing me this message because something is not set on firewall. So I'm gonna try using with the local address and go to general setup. And here you can see it's set on zsol, not zzsol. As I update this one, save. And after saving that, it should be good to open on the other side. Like I have the other page on incognito window where it was showing me this error because the domain name was not actually set what we were trying to access from. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page. So now you can see I'm able to see. So that's how this Nginx Proxy Manager works. This video has gone so long, but as I told you previously, it's going to be long. And for the web host or websites, we have option. We can select the location as well. So I'm just going to close this page and let me show you that as well. So under Nginx Proxy Manager, so let's say you have a web host or virtual machine installed. So you will just forward all the domains to one IP address. So let's say your IP address is this and you're using port 20,000 or whatever it is for your web server. Then there you will use the custom location. Let me show you my actual server so you will realize how I'm using that one. So see this example, I have like multiple blogs, which is running on one server, which has the IP address 10.0.0.5. And you can see it's blog 1, blog, and blog 01 on like multiple subdomains running on one server. So how these are working, let me show you that. So if I show you this example, let's say a blog, blah, 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 .dsol, I'm going to click on edit. So simply I mention domain names and this, and it's forwarding to the same IP address where the others are forwarding to. But where I made the changes in custom location. So you will have to give this location where you're storing all of your files for your web host. For virtual main, it shows you on the main page what is the location of your page, and then you're gonna enter the IP address. This is actually not the right IP address. It should be this. Don't get confused on that. And then SSL, or whatever SSL you want to use, and it's like really simple. So that's how you can use multiple web domains on one server as well using the custom location. Or if you have like multiple servers, as I showed you on two examples, accessing the NPM and then accessing the firewall using the LAN IP address with the domain name. So that's how it works. It was, I guess, pretty guided video. Like I guided you everything step by step from the installation to setting it up. So you should be able to now set up all the stuff by yourself. And if you like this video and you think this video was informative for you, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.